you. But the band originally consisted of Melissa Brisbane on drums, Jack Alexander on bass, and Christopher Devine on vocals and guitar. And though it appeared that Melissa left the band, and I'm not because I'm pretty sure that was a young man playing at the drums on this on this video. Um, I think that
Listen, has been through some changes.
yes.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Audiophiles. All right. My name's John. His name is Andy. The return of the thin white Duke, throwing darts in lovers' eyes. More of that later. Andy, how the devil are you?
I'm doing well, John. How are you?
Fair to middling. So, you got a track for us to listen to?
I
Share it
do.
with the people, all the good people.
I will do just that. The track is called Full Transcript, and it is by a an up and coming little known band, and I mean that not sarcastically at all. A band called Stock Manager. So, doubt you've ever heard of them. I've only just recently become aware of them, but I think they're interesting. They got an interesting sound going on that they're kind of cultivating, and I was curious your input on them. So please go off, give this a listen, and come back and let me know what you made of it.
Jawohl. Brilliant. Sorry to stop you guys, just you're launching in. But yeah, just to say the title page, AV Pal. Really authentic. And again, this look here, yeah, I must have had years like this. I'd say early 90s, maybe even possibly late 80s. I do remember there used to be a show in the UK called The Chart Show. Didn't have a presenter, it was all like graphics. And they did the indie chart on that sometimes as part of the rundown for all the other stuff. And it was always really funny because they were the lowest budget videos. Quite often it'd just be a still with no video. But then videos of this sort of quality. And then you'd have like the Smiths, which had decent videos. Or bizarrely, because they're on an independent label, Eurasia were always at the top there because they sell shitloads of records and they had really nice videos, but they were on an independent label. Yeah, who figures? So yeah, but this looks great. This looks really good. 3-piece. Okay, let's start again properly. I love that. This is great. I love this. Real energy from a 3-piece. They're tight. It sounds fantastic. There's a lot of influence here. I'm not saying that they sound like them, but it's going through a filter of sort of mid-period Sonic Youth. Yeah, kind of yeah, that sort of filter and a bit smoother in it. but it didn't sound completely like them. But there's other stuff in there as well. This is a real blend of influences. It sounds great. I'm really enjoying this.
I actually think that might have been the best
That was good.
audio version. What do you think?
Yeah, I was happy with that. Felt good.
Yeah.
I was happy with that.
Rather Scottish. There you go. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, this is great. Way too short. Way too short. Could have gone for going for it. It had a lovely, early 90s feel to it. There was almost a bit of Dinosaur Jr. in there as well when he went launched into the sort of chorus bit. But yeah, it kind of made me think of skate parks before they're all wanky. Yeah, the early 90s stuff, real nice vibe to it. They sounded great. Yeah, I'd be really interested to hear some more of their stuff and what it sounds like compared to this, because this is good stuff. But yeah, it's so short. It's not enough to really grip hold of. You just know you like it, and then it's gone. So yeah, more please. All right, let's get back to Andy and find out what the hell this is all about.
All right, welcome back. So, Stock Manager, what say you, John?
Well, inspiring name and inspiring title of song, that aside. Yes, it starts off VHS Rock. I love it. The title page is certainly authentic with like the AV and PAL sort of bits on there. There was certainly videos in this style doing the rounds, I'd say late 80s, maybe early 90s. But that sort of title page is really authentic. I remember I somehow acquired dodgy, when I say dodgy, I mean dodgy quality videos. And they were weird because they were VHS cassettes that only had one video on them. So they were like 10 minutes long. That was it. I don't remember where I got them from. I'm sure it involved a high stakes game of 3-card brag. But anyway, I'd like videos of REM. They Might Be Giants. There's some others as well. Very odd. And what it also did was it brought back fond memories. And I think I've spoken about this before, this program called The Chart Show. I think it was on Channel 4. It was a presenter-less program that had like various charts on it. It was all sort of graphics, which was state of the art at the time. And what they did feature quite often was the indie chart, which this in the mid to late 80s was proper indie. So you had the top 10 indie singles, and 5 or 6 out of them didn't have a video. It's just a still picture. And the ones that did have videos were really poor.
Yeah.
Really poor. And then you got either at number 1, number 2, The Smiths, which had a proper video. And then for some reason, Erasure, which is like pop synth stuff, but they were on an indie label. So they were always, they sold shitloads of records. So they were always at the top as well. But yeah, fond memories. Anyway, we get an 8 count, which is unusual from the drummer on the sticks. And then we're away. I do love the setup of the video as well, with this sort of VHS snow as the background. Yeah. And that sort of really sort of abrupt sort of blending of the two, so the effects is quite stark and almost neon the way it jumps out. It's just really poorly done, which is the
Yes.
whole point.
Yeah.
And it just made me think, sort out the tracking. Does anyone know what tracking actually was on VHS? Well, I don't know, but you had to do the tracking, didn't you? 'Cause I didn't know.
Yes.
Anyway, it's funny as hell. So we get another three-piece with a great sound. This is a very short number,
Hmm.
2:38 or something.
Yeah, a lot of their tracks are, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, this was a real sort of NutriBullet of sounds, blended. A lot of sounds that I really like. I could waffle on for ages, but I won't. So they riff away the first third of the song, which isn't very long. And I'm getting these shades of these influences, but particularly from late 80s alternative bands on your side of the pond. That's the sound I'm getting in particular. You could argue there's some of like Jesus and Mary Chain in there, but a little bit, not much. There's even like some older stuff, like a bit of Velvet's in there. But there's a lovely little tone from the guitar. And the bass player, I'm not technical on this, but from what I looked, I think he was playing mainly chords as bass player. So you get this really full sound out of the three of them. It was great. Rather than him, going up and down picking notes. And I do really enjoy watching a band, and I've said this before, with their collective heads down, just strumming away and making noise. I think so. They don't have to be pouncing up and down on podiums and shit like that. If I just see bands doing that and really into it, I really enjoy watching it as well. I get a vicarious joy out of it. The singer then stamps on a pedal. I hear no discernible difference, but anyway, it keeps him busy. And then we get some sort of staggered chords that sort of ring out the guitar sound as well, and it sets up the change in the track. Then he starts singing. And at this point, there's a real feel I get for mid-period Sonic Youth, particularly Daydream Nation. Yeah, it sounds great. This isn't like a mimic or anything. It's done through a filter of influences, and that's just one of them. They sort of stop and then they kick back in with because the words were down the screen. I wasn't paying that much attention, to be honest with you, but it's something about Now I'm on My Own. And at this point, I'm getting a smidgen of sort of Dinosaur Jr. as well. After Jay kicked out Lou, that period. And then again, when he goes up on the neck a bit more, there's touches even of like early Lemonheads as well, amongst loads of other stuff. That sort of 20 seconds or so from where he says, Now I'm on my own, it was about my favorite little bit in terms of the guitar sounding really great. It's really subtle stuff, but, still the energy's kept and the pace is kept going. And it's just little tweaks on it as he goes up and down the neck. Again, after he sings You're Ungrateful of Time, they sort of stutter and then pause like a stalled kite in the wind, and then they rip onwards. We get that time motif again and again, and then it all ends way too briefly. I let it run a few more seconds to hear some Caledonian tones discussing how good that take was. So I was quite surprised to learn they're Scottish, I believe. And they were very sort of charmingly sort of low key afterwards, as though, it was like, I think that was a good one. Which was really nice to see, quite pleasant. I really did enjoy this. I will say it was way, way too short though.
Absolutely.
Just as you're getting into it, to hold on to and think, okay, this is that, then it's finished. But it did emotionally transport me back to about 1990. Maybe 91, maybe 89, that sort of period. And it really felt like some stuff out there, which is a peak period for me in terms of music and, what you were doing at the time and enjoying yourself. So, yeah, I think I said in the reaction, it sort of put me in mind of skate parks before they became all wanky, which I don't know why I said that, but I think I stand by it. God damn it. Yeah, it's just really, because I guess it's the brevity of it, it's almost like a drive-by, you sort of, just as you're trying to snatch it, it's gone, which makes you want to listen to it again, I guess. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I thought this was excellent.
So glad you liked it. And you liked it for all the same reasons I did. And you took your one issue that you took with it is a very big issue that I also take with it. And while it is a big issue, there is also a compliment behind that. And that is if you really enjoy a song and it's only 2.5 minutes long and you want more of it, that's a good thing. But you gotta, as the artist, you've got to lift up your side of the couch. Like these guys, they've got a great sound going on, and they're tapping into something from a more authentic and less fabricated way than a lot of other acts trying to do similar stuff. And if you have that, and it's clear that they do, write a fucking 3.5 to 4.5 minute song at the very least. In fact, some of your riffage is so good and rich, and rhythms are so full that you could jam out on some of that stuff for well over a minute, even if it's repetitive. And I think
It's,
you, the king
it's
of it, respecting repetition, would probably agree with that. So it's like,
yeah. Some of this is begging to be a 6-minute song.
it is. It's almost like, look what I can do. I should probably do it for longer, but I stopped to go do another 2-minute song. So yeah, like hone your attention on one song at a time and give it all the life and breath that you can, and then move on. That would be my only piece of recommendation from a washed up, never was, but wish he were former musician, current musician. Do that, and you're going to get more. I think you're going to get even more and more attention because you've tapped into something really cool, guys. Now that PSA to the band is over. Yeah, really cool sound, and I just love that they're taking it even a step further with the visuals, and they're doing it in such a low key, like they're making a funny joke but not laughing about it, which kind of makes it even funnier or more clever. So it's the same.
There's
like,
a fondness to it as well. It's not piss take.
Yes, there is some reverence to it, even though it's fun and funny. But yeah, Stock Manager, a grunge-influenced rock trio from Glasgow, Scotland, known for their raw sound and VHS rock aesthetic that they describe as being a blend of dreamy, infectious vocal melodies, a driving rhythm section, guitar-led hooks, and alternative rock. The band originally consisted of, and believe me, there is just about one tick short of fuck all about this band out there on the internet. They're another one that just sort of popped up in a you should check out this Spotify list of post new wave, shoegaze, grunge, all this shit just gets filtered to me through the algorithm gods, and I stumbled across these guys, but then found nothing, near nothing on them themselves on the internet. So if anybody happens to watch this from the area or knows more about them and wants to fill in some information biographically that is falling through the cracks, please, we welcome you. But the band originally consisted of Melissa Brisbane on drums, Jack Alexander on bass, and Christopher Devine on vocals and guitar. And though it appeared that Melissa left the band, because I'm pretty sure that was a young man playing at the drums on this on this video. I think
Melissa has been through some changes.
Yes, exactly, possibly. But yeah, so there's obviously been a little bit of possibly some turnover there in the band. I really think that it's the brainchild of Devine, the guitarist, lead singer, and it's sort of his project. But yeah, really, really interesting stuff. The band grew up inspired by the likes of Nirvana and Alice in Chains and other turn of the decade American grunge bands and alternative rock bands, which I think is really cool. I love to hear. I mean, I've grown up my whole life hearing American kids influenced by that American music, trying to create it themselves. I was one of them. It's really cool to hear people from other countries what their spin on it is and how they ingest it and then try to reproduce it musically themselves. So it was cool. It's really cool for me to watch this. I just think it's interesting. But yeah, Stock Manager has been described as an entirely independent force in Glasgow music scene, creating all audio from their secluded basement studios in the East End. They often play in local clubs, pubs, and sometimes even flats around Scotland, which is how they got their start. As you can imagine, the band has a real DIY approach to not only recording and booking their shows, but also in how they market and promote themselves and others. They boast tens of thousands of monthly listeners on Spotify and currently run a live session format that champions Scottish music on YouTube to a large worldwide audience, gaining hundreds of thousands of views per year. The band has released several singles, three EPs and a full-length album, 2022's VHS Rock Tape 1. Full Transcript, the track that I had you listen to today, is another self-produced single that they released just last year in 2024. Olaf Furness and Derek McKinnon of The Scotsman wrote a piece on the band in 2020 and had this to say. Stock Manager have been busy building a following in less than traditional way by putting on gigs in their friends' flats across Stirling, Falkirk, and Glasgow, with their debut house party attracting an attendance in the hundreds. Accompanying each new single is a retro VHS-styled music video, and Stock Manager, with their do-it-yourself ethos, flat gigs, and cool retro music videos are on all of our top tips for 2020. And over at Discovery Music Scotland, Alex Matthew wrote of the band in his review, there's a sense of honesty that Stock Manager's music breathes, organically furthering this enrapturing quality laced throughout everything the group produces. It's raw emotion, sonically distilled and distributed. They feel like a band you could get stuck inside of, listening to on repeat for days upon days. Just harkens back to like, dude, if you're the kings of repetition, make your songs longer than 2.5 minutes. We can all just fall into it. It's okay. So let's get into these lyrics. They want your energy. They feed off it. Oh. Doesn't it make no sense at all? But you're caught in the moment. Oh. Can't you just believe me? I never need to hear a full transcript of your whole day. But you caught my eye, sunk into the ground. I never wanted it to be this way. I never wanted to stop. Now I'm on my way. Now I'm on my own, and I'm late all the time. Because every time you talk, you're hurting me. You're ungrateful of time. Yeah. Can you believe in me? They feed off it. Oh. Doesn't make no sense at all, but you're caught in the moment. Oh. Won't you conjure anything that isn't wasteful of my precious time? My time. Those are the lyrics. Pretty biting, pointed lyrics at whomever the person might be that he is directing this at, but they seem to be wasting his time. But yeah, interesting.
Not a lot of it. Only 2 and a bit minutes until it's time.
Exactly. Yeah. In all seriousness, man, really cool sound. It's really cool to hear a young up and coming band doing something that sounds far more organic than it does just a generic pastiche of a pre-existing sound and putting their own spin on it. I would just put their own spin on it for another at least minute and a half for each of their tracks to really build them up. And I think that they'd be onto something there. So hopefully these guys, continue to their upward trajectory. This is a sort of akin to the Dallas-based band that we did recently, Primo Danger, where it's like they're not there yet, but they've got a lot of things that suggest that they could be, and I hope that they are, and I will eagerly watch in hopes of seeing an ascension. So yeah, John, thank you so much for giving these guys just north of you a listen. I had a lot of fun the first time they stumbled onto my map, and I'm glad you enjoyed them as well, man. So thanks for giving them a listen.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Guys out there in the listening audience, please let us know what you think of Stock Manager out of Glasgow and this track Full Transcript. Interested to hear some of y'all's feedback. Also, please like, share, and subscribe if you'd be so inclined. Really does help us over at the channel. It might even help some of these younger, smaller acts that we're doing. It's more ears and eyes on their product, the better. So please disseminate if you would be so kind, and thank you very much. And hopefully John and I will catch all y'all in growing numbers on the next installment of the Audiophiles. See you later, guys.